Well, the Roval race is a big one for Hendrick Motorsports. All 4 Hendrick Chevrolets are still in the playoffs. Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman, William Byron, and reigning champ, 2-time Roval winner Chase Elliott. But how many of them will make it to the round of 8?
We'll find out. But for now, let's go to something a little more special. How about the Hendrick Heritage Tour that we've been telling you guys about? So special. We've been showing you clips of his guitar collection, of his car collection. We talked one-on-one with Mr. Hendrick about it all. Here's a look.
You've been collecting cars for a long time, but now you've got, I know this isn't all of them, but you have a lot of them in one place, and you've put together something that's pretty special for you.
I've always been a car nut, and my first car is right here, so I don't get rid of anything. I love to walk in here because it just takes me back in time. I just have flashbacks of, I can tell you a little bit about every car in here, and it just makes me feel good, feel alive, and again, pay tribute to my family.
Now, you mentioned that 31 Chevy that we're sitting in front of doing this interview. When you see that car, what are the memories that come to mind for you?
I think about, I bought it for $250, and when I brought it home, my mother said, "You paid $250 for that thing?" I think I was 14 years old, and I had worked in the summer in tobacco, and that was the money I made. And my dad and I built it in my granddad's general store. And then I worked on it in automotive mechanics in high school. And then I left home, and I hadn't seen it on my 40th birthday. My dad drove it in the city Chevrolet with my wife and 2 kids in the rumble seat. So it's
pretty special.
It's a family tradition, I'd say.
Yeah, and you also raced it, right?
I drag raced it, yeah. I was successful with that. So the car has just been a part of my life.
You talk about working on your first Corvette. I know you said you have that here now, but at one point in time you wanted just to be able to get that car, right? Put into perspective for me, or can you, going from that moment to where you are now in your life?
To get that car, I had one of my buddies called me and said he had a friend that had a Corvette that had a problem with the motor. Would I work on it? And I said, sure. And when I went over and looked at it and diagnosed it, he said, well, you know anybody that wants to buy it? And I said, well, what do you want for it? And he said, well, I'll take $1,000. It took me 3 notes to get $1,000 together to be able to buy it. And then I think about how excited I was and how many times I painted that car, different colors and different wheels and all that. It was just kind of my baby. And I dated my wife the first night in that car. And when we first met, and it broke down on the highway, and I had to crawl under it and put a starter wire together to make it run. So she talks about that still. But
it worked out okay.
It worked out okay. She's happy now. But I just remember going to the dealerships when I was 13 or 14 years old, and the new cars would come out, and they'd paper the walls, and everybody would go see the new cars. So you couldn't go see them. One day, all the cars came out, and I remember how excited I was about sitting in a '63 Chevrolet 409 and just drooling over the car. And I have one now.
Well, let's take a walk around, and I'll have you point out a few of your favorites to me.
Sure. Now, this is King Leopold of Belgium's car. Now, he had 3 Corvettes. They were all silver.
Okay.
And I have all 3 of them. And then we have the movie cars from the Transformers. This thing, we had it on rollers coming down the driveway to put it in here.
Yeah.
And to see it come down the street on a pallet, it looked real. I mean, it looked like you were right in you're right in the movie. Yeah. This is Roy Orbison's car, and I have all the documentation with it, and it's a super rare 427, 435 horse with black with red interior. Black is a very rare color back in those days. Almost at the same time I started heavy collecting, I started getting into the guitars, and so we now I've got a pretty good guitar collection.
I know, I heard about that too.
Have you seen it?
I have not.
We need to show that to you.
Well, let's look at it.
Okay.
Oh, this is awesome. Well, now how many guitars do you have?
I've got a couple hundred guitars. One of my buddies that I really enjoy listening to is Chris Stapleton.
Oh, so good.
Chris signed it, and then Justin Timberlake signed it because I loved that song they did together.
I love that you have the drive-in in here. Was that just something you wanted to put in, or is it a special drive-in, or?
Well, we call it the Bel Air drive-in, and you know, Bel Air was an old Chevrolet, and so there are a lot of creative people here. I can't take the credit for it all, and just ideas kept popping up. So we just continued to do things, and thought the drive-in was pretty cool.
It is.
That is so cool. And one thing you didn't show that I know you saw, a Babe Ruth game-used bat. He had 2 home runs with it.
Yeah, I know exactly where that's stashed in Mr. H's collection. I mean, there were just so many cool things, and just a really special day that he took his time to come give us that tour and tell us story after story. But each thing he really has a personal connection to, and you see where his love of cars came from, his humble beginnings. I mean, he even had to sell his first Corvette that he worked so hard to get. He got it back and then some, right? Plenty of Corvettes in that car collection now. And we had that full exclusive interview with Mr. Hendrick right now up on WCNC.com. You can see more of our tour through the Hendrick Heritage Center and hear more of his stories.